General Zer's voice boomed through the global broadcast channels, and even though it was just a hologram, he was clearly there. His eyes were mean Heisely and features hardened with a self-assurance that teetered on arrogant planets and species from across the galaxy listened. He made his announcement. He sneered at the people of Earth, calling them pathetic. We cowardly you hide behind walls of technology and weapons because you're afraid to face your enemies with honor. Zer's lips curled into a grin. And as he spoke, his eyes were sharp with a GKS Empire reader of waiting Earth. If you are brave enough, send your bravest fighter to face me army. Or will you run away like I expect you to, even though it took many light years to transmit the message? Was clear the insult unmistakable pride of Earth was wounded, but not broke. Kenzer wanted to make Earth look weak to display the so-called superiority of the Empire, but Earth's leaders they saw through the Bravadothi knew that meeting strength with strength was exactly what Zer expected, so they chose a different path. They would not send a fleet, they would not rally battalions, they would send a single soldier, a lone figure to stand not just as a fighter, but as a symbol, a message, a quiet, undeniable show-off strength, one that didn't rely on numbers or firepower. Shift to tense military tone. The Earth Federation's command center commander Hawk stared across the room. Facing him was their chosen warrior. Alex Bishop calm collected, his face unreadable. He wasn't the biggest or the most imposing, but he was one of the sharpest minds they had, a seasoned strategist, one who had faced impossibles before. Do you understand the nature of this mission? Bishop Hawk asked. His tone was firm yet respectful. The GKS Empire wants to test us, and we're answering with yo alone, no backup, no easy escape. This isn't just combat, it's a message. Alex gave a small nod, a slight smirk tugged at his lips. Then let's give them a lesson. They won't forget. Hawk allowed himself the faintesimal process them. Our power isn't in numbers, it's in our strength. Our will suit up intage, our emotional undercurrent. Later, as Alex suited up, a quiet resolve settled over him. He wasn't just going into battle, he was representing Earth, and he accepted that weight, because this wasn't about winning a fight, it was about changing how the galaxy saw humanity. It to desolate battlefield cinematic. Deneth desolate moon was vast and silent save for the heavy breath of 100 alien soldiers. The GKS army stood in perfect formation, armor glinting beneath dustin starlight, and at the front stood generals are larger than life, more intimidating in person than any hologram could convey. He looked down at Alex with amusement bordering on contempt. So, Earth's answer to my challenge is you won't human against the might of the Gex Empire. He laughed, a cruel echoing sound that rippled across the silent moon. His troops joined in, but Alex didn't flinch, looked her squarely in the eye. One isl you'll need to understand Earth's strength. Combat begins. Intense measured voice over. Zer's amusement flickered, annoyance noticed beneath his confident expression. Brava won't save you human, you've made a grave mistake. Alex's voice was calm steady. No general, it's you who underestimatism, not here to overwhelm you. I'm here to redefine what you think power means. With a hand signals are ordered a squad of alien troops forward. They moved with flawless precision, expecting a swift and easy takedown, but Alex was ready with trained eyes. He studied every movement, and when the first soldier lunged, Alex stepped aside, a twist, a strike of felony. By one they attacked, and one by one Alex dismantled them. Fluid, efficient, controlled. Within seconds they were sprawled across the ground, stunned and defeated. The alien ranks shifted. The murmurs began. Zer's grin vanished, verbal duel rising intensity. Is this some kind of tricks or grolitus, this cowardice? Alex shook his head. Not trick, no deception, just a demonstration. New came looking for brute strength. What you got was strategy. Another squad wasn't larger, more cautious, but again Alex adapted, moved like water, turned their weight against them, disarmed, disoriented. Zer's fury was building now. Y'all think this is enough to sway me? One man's agility does not speak for planets might. Alex's eyes never wavered. No general, our strength isn't in numbers, it's in will. One of us represents billions, because every single one of us will fight for what we believe. Inthelian soldiers began to fidget, their aunt's mighty confidence now fraying. And in that moment Zer understood this was no ordinary battle. This was symbolic final act. Quiet power growing. Respect. Zer sneered again. You have got human, but courage alone does not win wars. Alex smiled faintly. Maybe not beauty, it's the foundation. And you've just seen that even one of us can challenge Imagine what all of us could do. Zer fell silent. He didn't have a reply. The Gex army watched, not mocking now, not lying, but listening, because they'd seen it. Not just skill, not just speed, but unshakable resolve. Closing narration, steady, resolute tone. As the battlefield settled into uneasy silence, Alex stood alone, surrounded by thousands, and yet unmoved. He wasn't just a fighter, he was a message, a warning that humanity's strength isn't in its weapons, it's in its will. And even if Sir threw 1,000 more soldiers his way, Alex would still be standing, because Earth doesn't break, it endures. Thou it was edged with irritation. Human, You've proven to be resourcefully give you that, but surely you understand that this won't last. Your tactics may confuse and delay, but they cannot beat the will of an empire. Alex responded, his voice even carrying a hint of anger perhaps, but I think it's your soldiers who might argue. They didn't expect resistance, did they? They expected surrender. He looked straight at the line of G soldiers, his gaze intense, challenging. I'm not here to beat an empire general. I'm here to show your soldiers what one person's determination can do against thousands. Soldiers shifted, a subtle wave of doubt rippling through their ranks. Zor clenched his jaw, his frustration obvious. For the first time, he could see that this human's presence had begun to unravel the assumed loyalty of his own forces, the faith they had in him and in the empire's might had faltered, and Alex's words had ignited something uncomfortable in them, a knowledge that they were up against more than just a lone soldier. You're wasting your breath. Zur snapped, though his tone carried the atmosphere of uncertainty. They know their duty. They will fight regardless of your silly psychological games. Alex tilted his head, a slight smile breaking his calm attitude. Gemesno General, this isn't a game. This is about the very cause we fight. Maybe that's why you don't understand. You fight to conquer. We fight to protect. Hepaust, allowing his words to settle. Fear's a difference, and it's that difference that's unsettling your troops right now. Zur's glare hardened, his pride forcing him to push forward. Despite the doubt settling among his men, he barked in order, sending forth another line of soldiers. This time larger, more heavily armed. The men advanced, but their steps were hesitant, a reluctance in their movements that hadn't been there before. Alex could sense it. He adjusted his approach. Every move reinforced the doubt had seated in their minds. As he tacked the new squad, he fought not with reckless violence, but with deliberate precision. He dismantled their formation with minimal force, saving his strength, moving with calculated efficiency. Each strike he gave served not just to incapacitate up, to demonstrate control and unspoken edge to the alien forces. Power wasn't only in brute strength, but in restraint and purpose. The men one by one found themselves unable to hold their ground. Every move Alex made seemed to anticipate theirs, as though he knew their plan before they did. And as each fell, the others looked to one another, doubt turning to dread. They began to question not only their strength, but the very purpose of their mission. They had come to show their superiority, yet here they were falling to one man. Woe was outmanned in every conventional sense, except in his resolve. General's anger reached a boiling point. His soldiers, once invincible in their ice now, seemed vulnerable, exposed. Their pride, once unshakable, had fractured under Alex's relentless composure. Half felt the authority he had over his men, slipping their trust in him, and in Themepire's might was weakening with every second. This human stood against Theme, desperate to reassert controls or addressed his forces, his voice booming, trying to drown out the creeping doubt. Remember who you are, he roared, hissed and harsh, and demanding. You are soldiers of the G's empire. We do not falter before lesser beings. You are a part of something bigger than yourselves. But even as he spoke, his words seemed to fall flat. The effect was diminished. His soldiers glanced at one another, uncertainty clouding their expressions.